You mentioned just a little while ago that it was your father figure. I watching the documentary. I got a little teary-eyed when you got, with your dad. I lost
Yeah.
my dad, a couple years ago, and I'm looking there. I was like, wife passing me the tissue, and now I'm like, damn, because I'm thinking about my dad.
Yep.
I noticed it took at the end of the doc though for you to mention your dad. Was he not there at all?
Yeah,
Like,
no, so he wasn't involved, and we just didn't have a relationship. But when you have like certain do-overs in life, where you wish you could do something over, I have more regret about that than I do with anything with football. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right.
Because I had got to a place where I was responsible, my head was right, I'm focused, I'm doing my thing. And my mother, for whatever reason, just was like, yo, reach out to your pops and just connect with him. You know what I'm saying? And I don't even know the nature of why she said it. You know what I'm saying? But the next thing you know, I go and reach out to him, or I didn't reach out to him because like my ego was still there, like, fuck this dude. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's where my mind
The
was at.
gangster ego. That,
Yeah, it's still the gangster
right,
ego.
right,
You know what I'm saying?
right.
You still got to suppress that stuff. And then he died, and and I didn't know he died. I was in the gym on a bike, and I was doing matter of fact, I was doing like a spinning class at the gym, and then I leave the spinning class and I go to the regular bike to cool down. And when she said something, I was like, whoa. But then you know how you about to cry, and you get all the feelings over you, and then like as she was telling me, I was like, oh, this stuff hurt. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't realize this thing was like feeling like this. And so I get up from the gym and I go back to the apartment, and then I know my mother had talked to my girl already, because when I come through the door, you can see my girl like, yo, I heard the news. And so I'm sitting there, and I made her get out the room, and I was like, yo, I really care about this dude. And
At what point of your life was this when this happened? This is
2011.
This is when you just came home.
Yeah,
right?
I came home in 10. This happened a year after I was home.
So you never spoke to him from when you were going through all that?
I spoke to him like once my freshman year in college, and prior to that, it was probably like when I was like 9, 10, 11, but nothing in between that.
Not when you were in prison, none of
No.
that, and he never reached out to you.
Nope.
That must have hurt. Like you felt like, what would you say to your dad right now? Like if you, because you didn't have closure. That's how I felt. Like I didn't have closure with mine. So that's what I related to. Like.
So I would have opened the door up. Like now at 36, I say, yo, we can have a relationship, but it's not like I'm not your son or your do boy or anything like that, but more like just like you're my father at the end of the day. So you're the reason I have life. And get some details on just maybe some things that took place. You know what I'm saying? And then resolve them and move on. I think sometimes we just like, even just black men in particular, just people in particular, we get mad at something and think that the reason that we're mad, like that person stayed in that space. Like, and even as I make some mistakes in life and I go get into it with my girl at times, like you start to realize like maybe my mom's was tripping sometimes, or maybe my father couldn't find employment and that got him down, or maybe, it's a
You don't know what he was going through.
No,
right?
You don't. But and my mother never bashed him, but you get to assuming when you're a kid. And based on assumptions, you start to form an opinion. And really, if you ever ask me what happened, like, I really don't know what happened. I don't know why they parted ways or what ended up taking place. But, you just, I don't know what you're saying. I don't know what I'll say in particular, but you could just open the door for the relationship.
Right. Okay. Now you're out doing your thing now. You got your book out. One and done.
Yes.
You enrolled in some classes. You took classes. You're going out speaking to everything. You're speaking to a lot of kids.
Yes.
How's it feel right now?
Yeah, so it feels great. There's a few things I do. I think the first thing that I always talk about is just the company, the Red Zone. And that's probably the bedrock of everything, and us being able to do services with adolescents and adults. We house about 60 adults, 50 men, probably 10 women, 10 or 20 women or so. We probably on a daily basis deal with 300 or 400 people with different issues. We'll probably house probably 50 or 60 men coming home from prison next year. We're very proud of that we can help them in their transition and go on to lead better lives, and they can kind of use my situation as an inspiration, hopefully. And we work with about 1,200 kids on a daily basis throughout the state of Ohio, people who come from similar circumstances, myself, and being able to do that. And the book is actually used as a fundraiser. You know what I'm saying? So we've built out a company. I employ 150 people within what we do with the Red Zone. And the book was made to basically start a student athlete recovery center, or mental health and wellness center for student athletes. And so I'm selling books just for the sole purpose of putting together a residential facility for athletes who have trouble, who are basically in the same situation I was in. who can't adjust academically and they become into self-destructive behavior, or for a number of reasons, but basically who end up going through issues and
mental health.
Mental health issues, drug and alcohol issues that they may have on campus, that they may have after they end up leaving the game, or to young kids in high school who can't seem to adjust and become self-destructive, but have a but have a student-athlete background.
Do you think a lot of kids in Ohio, across the country, is a lot, especially in the black neighborhoods, mental health issue is?
Yeah, I just think from poverty, from trauma, from broken family, from a lack of education, from just societal factors in general. And when we say mental health, I think we should be responsible and just talk about the wellness, right? So I don't talk about mental health in a way that a person has a permanent handicap, right? I talk about it from just a wellness standpoint. So if I told you we had to go play a football game and we had to get ready for a football season, you would understand weightlifting, film study, and things of that nature. But if I told you, there's a system that you have to put in place for your mental wellness to go outside to deal with broken relationships and people lying to you on social media and the stress of trying to achieve your goals and things of that nature, there's not a lot of people who understand how do I build an infrastructure for that, right? But all of that stuff pulls on your mind and pulls on your perspective and mentality, and all of that stuff basically wears on you. And if you don't know how to combat it or you're not strong, you can drink, you can smoke, or you can get involved in other things to not sort of deal with that issue. And my thing is, let's create a space for it, because you have so many young black kids who are notable to the communities that they come from. But what ends up happening is that, when they don't achieve in football or basketball or whatever sport that they select, they tend to believe that that's all they have to offer to their neighborhoods or the world. But I'm trying to replace a narrative and trying to save them and say, okay, there's another platform to come and redirect yourself if that doesn't work out, or if you're having a hard time with that. And let me show you some other ventures that I'm into. And I do real estate. I'm partnered with surgery centers. I'm partnered in other ventures that I would have never been in had I not independently educated myself and got going in. And that's kind of like where I'm at in life right now, and just trying to shape a different trajectory for these guys.
You need to take Antonio Brown there. Youngstown Boys documentary. You can find that out. It's just great doc.
They can go to Amazon and we did the documentary. But just I would love for even people just to see what I'm doing now and keep up with me now. And I'm very fortunate. Anytime I get a platform anywhere around the country, I'm fortunate because I just think about this. I was coming here, and there's 1,000 million, 100 million people who've been through a lot of things in life, you know what I'm saying? And they don't have a voice to advocate for them, or they don't have anything to look up to say, okay, once I've fucked up, is there another side to it? And what I want to represent is that, I don't give a fuck, you fuck up, shit happens, you know what I'm saying? But you can still get your shit together no matter how old you are, and you can still have a prominent life outside of sports, outside of music, outside of, if you were to shit in real estate, if you were a fucking accountant, an engineer, whatever, shit happens, and don't let one moment define your life. And that's what I want to represent. One moment didn't define my life. Like, I have fun with the stories about 50. I have fun with the stories about LeBron. I have fun with all that stuff. You know what I'm saying?
It doesn't define your life.
Nah, but I feel like I'm the richest athlete. So right. I feel like there's nobody right now who has who've had a greater experience. Like I've had great experiences through pain, through adversity, through triumph, through having my family still together after 15 years. From having no money to having money now, and to all this stuff. I've had rich experiences where I can see the total experience with a lot of different situations where, now I have wisdom I can apply to my life. That shit feels fucking great. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people can't say that. They get stuck in the place, and they stay stuck in these places. But, for me, I've had them, and I feel like, those have been my trophies, you know what I'm saying? And just as a person may have some medals for some fucking football shit, I have medals for life that I can say, okay, this shit can help you to trudge on and move forward. Those books that I've read, I take with me. The way I'm able to walk in and maintain relationships with people, and people deal with me. I think it's the biggest thing. When people see me, they don't see me as an athlete no more. You know what I'm saying? They see the story, you know, so they see your decisions made behind, you know, what you've been through. They see how you've moved forward through that. And prior, it was all about, you know, did you break a tackle? You know what I'm saying? Or did you jump over somebody or shit like that? Or just that shit fades, you know what I'm saying? And so, you know, and I can inspire some kids from a real story, and that's what I want my life and my legacy to be done. Remember that, you know what I'm saying?
I think you're doing that, bro.
Yeah.
I know for a fact that you're doing it.
Yeah.
It's all about the bounce back, man.
It's all about the bounce back.
Appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.